are a bunch of search tips and techniques that have shortcuts to kind of narrow your search and find exactly what you're looking for. And I think Sister Hinckley already talked to you about some of these, the wildcards and the asterisks and those kinds of things. If you don't remember that, you can play around with it a little bit with this handout. But I'm not going to give it to you right now, because then you're going to play around with it now and not listen to what I'm saying. So. Okay. Yes, I did teach high school for 11 years. Okay, so and then everybody knows about the wiki, right? I mean, Family Search Wiki. So that I continue to find things that I never would have expected in the Family Search Wiki. So don't forget to look there if you can't think of what to do or where to go with your research. There's just so much information available here. So I won't take the time to go into that. I think you've already had a lesson on that. But now let's get into some unusual things that maybe you haven't ever thought of. For example, eBay. Anybody ever used eBay for genealogy? Okay, so eBay has a thing called watch lists. So it's down here on, once you log into, if you log into eBay, on the left-hand page is going to be a watch list. So you can search for anything in eBay. So if I put the surname of Clodfelder again, I'm just going to stick with Clodfelder. And I'm going to look for photographs of Clodfelders. Look at that. There's a Missouri Clodfelder family for $12.95. But if I click on it here, I don't need to pay $12.95 for it. All I got to do is snip it out of here and put it in my family search, right? This is just some guy that found an old photograph. He doesn't even know who these people are. All he knows is, I read the description. All he knows is on the back, it says Clodfelder family, Missouri. That's all it says. So I looked at this, and I swear I know that face right there, the mother there. But I can't find my picture to confirm that. But I'm pretty sure this is one of my Clodfelders. I just got to do a little more research to figure it out. So eBay has old stuff like that available. Now, if you look under my surname, you're going to get a bunch of junk, because a lot of people spell Whicker baskets with an H. I didn't realize that.
That's
So
because they misspelled?
no, it can be spelled both ways, but it's usually spelled without the H. But here I get a bunch of vintage photographs of a baby in a wicker chair. See that? So that's not going to be too helpful. And this lady has, oh yeah, that's a wicker chair as well. Anyway, and then there's this famous guy in Britain named Alan Whicker. So there's a bunch of stuff there that didn't do me any good. But this Clodfelder picture, I thought was pretty, could be pretty helpful.
In family search, where you, I know you can take your picture and say, what relative do you look like?
Oh yeah.
Can't you take factors out and say, what relative is she?
Hey, that is a great idea. I didn't even think of that. That was, yeah, we could do that. Okay, good. So see, thinking outside the box. You guys are already experts.
So is how to, what family, that's in family search?
Yeah, that's in family search. It's under the activities. If you go over here to activities, and it's called compare a face right there. So you just look at, you just begin by putting in somebody's face. There's, okay, I'll use my previous image. It's ugly, but what? View comparison. So it says that I look 70% like my dad. So how it figures the percentages, I don't know, some algorithm, but so I don't know. I think he's a lot better looking, but it says that I'm 70% like him. Okay, so that's just a fun thing in activities. There's lots.
It could be useful in research if you have pictures.
Yeah, like this situation.
Not sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
His name, see, came up.
What's that? I'm already at the top.
Oh, well, down then, sorry.
Oh,
So see, it says Ben Whicker, so if it says, okay, here's this person.
Yeah.
Who does it look like in my family? It'll come up with a name.
right. Yeah, it'll continue to compare with other people too. Oh, no, it just goes to Ben's thing. Anyway, you can play around with that. It's pretty fun. And don't be surprised if you're a male and you look like your grandma, because that's where you get some of your features from. Okay. I wanted to also make sure within Family Search that everybody was aware of a couple of help items besides the wiki. For example, Family Search, well, I'm out of Family Search here. There we go. So when you go back to the Family Search homepage, you can always get there by the top left icon of Family Search. And you've got up here on the top, you've got several icons. The help menu here will give you some ideas and also take you to the community. Has anybody ever used the community in Family Search? Okay, the community is a bunch of missionaries, service missionaries that are assigned to specific topics of interest. For example, when I did this, when I was a missionary for communities, I got assigned Russian topics and military topics. That was my expertise, to help people who had questions about anything Russian or military. And I'd go in every day and look for any new questions in either of those two topics. And then I would try and do some research to help them find whatever they were looking for. So if you go into the Family Search community here and you say Poland, I mean, you want to research something about Poland, it wants me to make sure I'm human here. Then you can either go to the posts here or to the places, and you can see that people have asked questions, very specific questions. Where can I find Catholic Church records for the towns of Mogilno in Poland? And then if you look at the results, you'll find that somebody answered, some missionary answered, since these places were once part of Germany, you may also want to try matricula. I don't know what he means by matricula, but anyway, so you'll find some answers there. And I guess I'm not signed in, but I could ask a question if I was signed in about something specific. So that's the community. If you go to the community home here, you're going to see that there are specific groups right here. So we click on groups, and you can see all the groups that are available in alphabetical order. So there's Africa, Archives, Asia, Belgium, Cedar Park, Chinese, Czech, anything you can think of, family Bible records.
It's still under communities.
This is still under communities. I'm in, here's the community home. This is where you go to when you click on communities, help, and then you go over to the far right and there's groups. The groups will tell you all the groups that are available, or you can just search in the search bar. Tonga, okay. No, it's to verify I'm human every time. I'm not going to change in the last 2 minutes. No results. But let's go to all. I was on posts only. Let's go to all. There we go. I'd like to know if anyone in this group currently resides in Tonga. And there are 4 results there. If you have any research tips for finding burial details in Tonga, and there's what somebody has answered there. Methodist Church in Tonga don't keep records. So this is a southern person talking. They don't keep records. Okay, so does that answer your question about that? Okay, that would be good. That's under communities. Also under communities, under help, I'm going to go back to the Family Search main page. You've got this where you can text other people. Like if you came across somebody in your somebody that uploaded a fact about an ancestor of yours, and you want to ask them any more about it, you can click on the chat thing and send them a message. I got a message just last week. Well, in fact, I think it was this week. It was on Sunday. This lady said, "Do you have any more records of Hannah Sims? She's my great aunt." Well, she's my wife's great grandmother, and we know a lot about her, but she told me something that nobody in the family knew. She says she went on a trip to Bend, Oregon, researching her brother's murder. And we all went, "What? Her brother's murder? We'd never heard anything about that." So I did a search Sunday night on newspapers.com for her brother's name was George, for George Sims in Bend, Oregon. And I found the newspaper article about his murder. So now we were able to share that with the rest of the family that knew nothing about that. So some good things can come out of this chat option. And then under the bell here, which is the notifications, one thing that's really interesting is if you show all notifications here at the bottom, then you're going to find, let's see, where is it? Oh, where did it go? Just did this last night. Maybe I have to click a notification. Let's see. No, well, it's oh, unless it's hiding under here. So, well, I don't know where that went. Maybe it's under the help. Let's see. Under help. Oops. Helper resources. There it is. Under helper resources, if you scroll down to the very bottom, well, that's not it either. Somewhere in here it tells you who your ward temple and family history people are. Where is that, Jerry? Do you know?
All the time.
I do too. I mean, it was just there. Homepage here. Is it on the very? Let's see. The bottom? No.
Actually, it's when you're looking for something.
But it's just, that was weird. I know I had it under here yesterday. Anyway, ask somebody in your ward if you can't find it. Okay. Now, another thing that many of you may not know about is the Bible Project, the Family Bible Project. We got many Bibles here in Payson that we scanned and sent up to the Family Bible Project. So I'm going to cheat and get there quick through my link here because I can't remember how to find it in Family Search, but whoops. This is a guy named Yancey who was also one of the missionaries on the community when we were working on that. And he collects all family Bibles he buys them off eBay, he finds them in garage sales, and he sends them to be scanned and puts them on the here. So if we were to search for, I thought Sister Ellsworth would be here. I'm gonna look for Sister Ellsworth, but the funny part is their website is a little bit weird. Index to surnames. There we go. Yeah. Oh, it's got a mistake here. It's supposed to go to the letter when you hit the letter. Oh, there, it did that time. Okay, so I'm going to look for Ellsworth. And there's whoops. There's an Ellsworth. No. Is it spelled wrong? Oh, maybe that's why. But look, it's there with T. They dropped out. Okay, so there's an index to surname resources for the surname Ellsworth. And it has a link to Alabama archives where you're going to find some Ellsworths, Australia. You got Ellsworths all over the place. And it's got all these links that will take you to individual places where Ellsworth's surname is in some family, some websites. You've even got some audio, video, and some books. So,
So are these Bibles digitized, or at least the information pages inside of them, or not?
I'm not sure all of them are, but a lot of them are. So, have you all heard of Cindy's List? It has a bunch of surname looks too. So if we go here and go on Cindy's List, where's the search Cindy's List in the top right? Oh, I have to agree. No, that's taking me. Don't get drug into these websites. They're trying to get your money. That's what that is. I did that yesterday. Truth Finder.
They say they're free until you get to the very bottom.
Yes, exactly. I mean, they'll even take 5 minutes to do all the searches.
Yeah.
And then they want to charge you to see what they got. So we're going to look in Cindy's List for Ellsworth. And here we found there's an Ellsworth County in Kansas. So there's an explorer, an Antarctica explorer named Lincoln Ellsworth. There's marriages and divorces in Maine that have some Ellsworths in them. So anyway, Cindy's List is another good. It's on your list that you're going to get today here. Lots of options all over the place. There's also, for Bibles, there's this other one called the U.S. Select Family History and Bible Records Index. And it's part of Ancestry's collections. So you can search, give me a surname that's not Smith or Jones out there that you'd be interested in. Anybody?
Wilcox.
With an X?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just search for that. And then I'm not signed in right now, so it's got things blurred out, but here's a record we could view of the Wilcox family. Here's one of the family of Edward Wilcox in Rhode Island, Isaiah Wilcox in Pennsylvania, etc. So this is the Family History and Bible Records Index within Ancestry, where you might be able to find some stuff. Okay. Now we're going to move on to artificial intelligence. So how many of you have used artificial intelligence for anything so far? Have you? Okay, so you're all pretty well aware. It's very helpful in genealogy too. I just have a quick link on my laptop that goes to copilot.microsoft.com, and I use it quite frequently to answer questions, but even I'm going to just put in here my dad's name and let's see what it knows about my dad. So I put in Ben R. Whicker. Oh, okay. So it wants a question. So I'm going to have to say, who is Ben R. Whicker? That's interesting. I've never seen it do that before. Okay. And it says he was born in 1933, died in 2020 from Kaysville, Utah. Born in a tiny log cabin near Craig, Colorado. His parents are correct. He served in the Air Force for 12 years and the National Guard for 20. First counselor in the Dover branch of the church and various missions, including addiction recovery. So it's perfectly accurate. Found all that stuff and put it in a narrative. I'm sure it gathered pieces. It tells you where it got the stuff from. I got some from his obituary here. I got some from Find a Grave Memorial. So those are the two main places that it found that information from. It even has his nickname, Grandpa Fix-It. So
Is Copilot a sub-tab of Family Search? Or you gotta go?
no, it's a Microsoft product. It's free. Copilot.microsoft.com. And it's like Chat GPT, but it's meant to be really user friendly.
Does it work on living people?
Yes, in fact, I'll show you. I'm going to say, tell me about This is Sister Ellsworth's husband, Richard German Ellsworth. And the only reason I'm using him is because with the German in the middle, it really specifies who this one person is. And he's got a PhD in psychology based in Utah. He works with people with addictions, anxiety, depression. He got his PhD from University of Rochester in 1979, speaks English, etc. So very, very immediate results about who is Richard German Ellsworth. Okay. Okay, let's go on to the Wayback Machine. Has anybody ever heard of the Internet Archive? Okay, so once in a while, when you're out there searching on the internet, you're going to hit a link that sends you to a page that says 404 error, site not found. You ever seen that? Or a little puppy dog will show up and say, looking like he's digging for a bone, saying, I can't find it, you know, things like that. These are websites. Websites disappear all the time because you have to maintain your domain registration on a website and, you know, renew it by payment every 5 years or so. And if you stop paying, then the internet can't find your website anymore. So there's lots of things that are missing from that you'll go to, but do not despair. If it's something you really thought you need to find, you can go back to the Wayback Machine, and it has recorded and taken little snapshots of websites that are no longer there. So, for example, I came up with a really good example yesterday. Oh, yes, I know what it was. It was, I found some good ideas from what was called the Armchair Genealogist. And if you go to the Armchair Genealogist on a regular web page, I'm going to go over here and just paste that in. You're going to get this site can't be reached. Okay. But there was something in it that really interested me. So I went to the Wayback Machine and typed it in the search there. And by the way, the address of the Wayback Machine is just real simple, archive.org. But they call it
On the list.
It doesn't look like it. You want to write? I'll give you the handout and you can.
I'll put it underneath.
No, that's all right. No. So I put the Armchair Genealogist into the Wayback Machine, and I'll show you how interesting it is and what it does. Well, yeah, sorry, I thought I made up funny. So I hit the the Armchair Genealogist in the Wayback Machine and hit enter, and it comes up with this calendar. So I can tell just by looking that the waybackmachine.com website started in 2009 because you see these little blips. Those are how many images they took off of this website throughout the years. And websites change all the time. So if we go all the way back to the first snapshot of the Wayback Machine, we can click on 2009, scroll down to the calendar here, and we can see that it took a snapshot of that website on the 23rd of June of 2009. We hover over that, and it tells us that this is the snapshot it took at 8:23 in the morning that day. So we click on that, and it takes it a minute because it's got 1,000 pages. So here is the very first page of when the Armchair Genealogist started as a website. And it's just basically a genealogy magazine but it has lots of resources and things that are quite interesting. And if you look, if I go back here now, and I want to find a more recent shot, look, it was very active in 2018. So let's go see what it was doing in 2018. Now, I do not know the difference between, oh, that's just how many snapshots it took in a single day. The circle gets bigger the more snapshots it takes. So let's take a look at this one on June 16th, and we'll see how the website changed from 2009 to 2018. So 9 years later. And now, see, it's a whole different front page. Yeah.
Is that just the first page or is it?
Some of them, the links don't work, and some of them they do. So let's try this. Let's take this conference link here and see if it actually goes anywhere. It doesn't always go somewhere. This one didn't. See, it said that website is now gone. So we could try to put that in the search button and see if it found it. But I did find the thing that I was looking for, and I wish I'd have written down what it was that I was looking for. It had a link to some, oh, it was one of these on the left. It was timelines. It was the timelines that I was looking for. And I think it did go to the timelines link. So I'm going to try it here. Yeah, and there it is. And it doesn't, it actually is it just found the menu. Oh no, it's coming up. Let's see if it's going to do anything. It's kind of slow. It's got a lot of broken images. This is a broken image. That means it can't find the image that it's referring to. Oh, here we go. And there's the timelines. 4 steps to a family history timeline, getting family facts on a timeline, etc. So I am going to talk a little bit about timelines here in a minute. So anyway, that's the Wayback Machine. So just for fun, I'm going to show you what my website looked like way back when it started and see if I can see when it started. See if I can remember when I started oh, that's my current one. I want to look at way back here. I don't know why it came up with the current one. Oh, because it's still live. The other one didn't come up with the current one because the armchair genealogist is no longer alive. So this is what my website looked like when I started. Way back, and I don't even know when we are. October of 2000. So I had a thing here, the descendants of Henry Whicker from Collyton, England, way back then. And I'm going to see if the link works, and it does. And it has a list of surnames. So this page is still alive, but it's just buried deep within my website now. And there's the list of surnames in my genealogy right there. And if I went to any one of those, let's see if it'll go any further, any deeper. See if I can find some Rileys here. Yep, and there's Riley, Deborah Falk. See if it'll go deeper. Yep, it does. Okay, so anyway, that's the Wayback Machine. Pretty useful when you come to a dead end on the internet. You can find the detour to get back to it. Okay, so let's go on. I know you guys have used newspapers.com, right? Has everybody used newspapers.com? Very, very. In fact, you've done a class on all the different websites that do newspapers. We need to do that class in May. We haven't done that for over a year, right? Okay, we got to finalize that today. So after this, let's get together. Okay, so newspapers.com. And then there's one, I don't know, Rose, if you ever did this one or not, but this was really interesting. Just last night, I found something really fun. So this is at the Library of Congress, Chronicling America. You've got that on your list? Okay. So I just did, oh, what did I search for? I think I just searched for Whicker. And on the very third page here, I noticed Jasper News. Well, that's where my grandmother was from. So I clicked on it and it had an old 1921 newspaper article, and it highlights all the places where Whicker was found. And and it has an article about the wedding of my grandparents. And lo and behold, I looked, I read it, it was really well written. And I looked, oh, did it scroll down? Oh, there we go. I looked at the writer of it, D.E. Dallas, and I went to my grandma's wedding certificate, and D.E. Dallas is the guy who performed the wedding. So that was really fun. That was just fun to read. And then I found another article 2 pages later that talks about my, and it has a whole list. That's this one right here. Has a whole list of people. It says right here, we want to thank those who donated money to buy the pastor a fine gold watch, which was presented to him on December 7th. And it lists the donors, and there's my great aunt, Nellie. There's my great uncle, Benjamin Pearl. There's my grandfather, Ben, my great grandfather, Harlan, and my great uncle, Glenn, who is my namesake, right there in the article. So it was just fun. Okay, so that's newspapers, and we will get that. We will get another class on newspapers because there's so many options for that.
Will that be here or will it be a separate?
It'll be a separate class on a
It'll be in the bullet.
Yeah. Do you do Wednesdays or Wednesday afternoons or Thursday nights generally when you teach? You can do either. Thursday night. Okay. It'll probably be a Thursday night next month. Okay. Now here's another good one. This one is called memory projects. And all you got to do is go to Google and type in the phrase memory projects. Okay. When it'll take you to this memoryproject.org. So go to the home page. I thought it was here. Just a second. Huh. That's interesting. This is not what I got last night. I'm gonna put that in quotes.
Comes up,
It comes up as what? Yeah, and that isn't the one I'm looking for here. No, there's a whole bunch of memory projects throughout the internet. Oh, here it is. Statewide digital memory projects. That's the one I'm looking for. And it'll take you to a list of all the states in the United States that have memory projects going on. So I was really intrigued to go to Colorado here. It's called the Plains to Peaks Collective. You'd never think to look for that, right? So I go to that, and it gives me the option to search the collection. So I'm going to hit search, and I'm going to put in here my aunt's family is from Grand Junction, Colorado, and both she and her husband were very prominent figures in Grand Junction for many years. So I'm going to put in Albers. That's their last name. And right off the bat, I get a picture of my Uncle Albers, which I have never seen before. My Uncle Ted, I mean, that he was the president of Mesa College, which is now Colorado Mesa University. The very next picture is a picture of my Aunt Maxine, who was the county commissioner for Grand County for years and years. And there's another picture of her, and there's another picture of her, and there's both of them together. And there's another picture of her and another.
What is
And-
that slash that goes through there?
This means that this is just this is so you won't copy it. It means this is just a thumbnail. If you want to go to the full item, you click on this. But I've noticed that they're all linking to the museums of Western Colorado. And it's not a secure site, so you have to hit advanced and proceed anyway, even though it says it's unsafe. It's not unsafe. It's just,
Is that because you're doing it through the family search?
no, it's not because it's through the family search. It's because it's really not there anymore. So here's a case where we might want to go to the Wayback Machine because the westcomuseum.org is no longer alive. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to copy that URL and go to archive.org real quick, just for fun. I want to see how well this works. And type that in and see if it finds anything. And yes, it does. It found it 53 times between this 2003 and 2025. So I'm going to go to 2022 here. And I find that there's only one snapshot of it in 2022. Oh no, there's 3 on the same day. Go to that and see what we get. Nope. I still can't get to it. So we might have to go back further. Let's go way back to 2004 and see if we can get to Westco Museum, Western Colorado Museum. There's one snapshot in 2004. Oh, and that's not it. Somebody else on the URL here. That is interesting. I don't know why that pops up. Anyway, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but this is a perfect use of the Wayback Machine. I'm going to try one more. There it is. There's a snapshot of the Western Colorado Museum. And it says, click here for pictures of our new exhibits. That's probably, there's the pictures, polar bears on ice. Okay. Okay. So anyway, that's where were we? Can't remember where we are now. What were we just talking about? Oh, we were here in the West Coast. We were at the statewide memory projects. Yeah. So there's all kinds of history here about my aunt and uncle, but I can't really get a hold of it. Now this one, notice this picture doesn't have the slash through it. So I wonder if, because it's going to a different website, it's going to Aspen Historical Society instead. So it's there. And there's a photo record of the Theodore Albers family in 1904. So that's very useful to me. So that's looking for memory projects. And what's the I had to put that in quotes. So remember to put that in quotes if you're going to come up with that memory project singular. That isn't what we're looking for. We're looking for the statewide memory projects. Okay. Another Google thing that I've used just recently, I use these tools quite a bit. If you go to maps.google.com, which you guys use probably driving, but I discovered a week ago Sunday, I found the answer to a mystery that I'd had all my life. When we moved to Delaware, when I was only 6 years old, I knew that we rented a house for about 3 months before my parents bought the house that I remember. And I've asked my older sister about it, and she says, I don't remember that. And so I finally found a letter from my mother that mentioned the address of this house that we rented for 3 months. And what happened to me when I looked this up on Google Maps was a flood of memories that I did not know I even had. So it was Green Hill Drive in Dover, Delaware. So I looked it up on Google Maps, and I went to the street view down here in the bottom right-hand corner. And there's the house as it exists today. And immediately I recognized that house. Not only did I recognize the house, but I remembered that the basement was completely unfinished and it smelled damp and musty, and that we used to roller skate in the basement. And
Now, you can get addresses from census, can't you?
yep, you can get them from censuses, but they would have had to have been living there on the day of the census, and they only lived here for 3 months. So,
You, I have memories of a house
yeah,
when I was 4 or 5.
oh, yeah,
And
yep,
that
that'd
could
be I could get you
If they
there.
were on the census, then I could see that.
Yeah,
house.
that could get you there. That was pretty fun for me. Okay, we'll go on to another one. Dead Fred. You ever heard of Dead Fred? He died a long time ago. Flat Stanley, yeah, he's the cousin. Deadfred.com. Okay, deadfred.com is a repository of old photos. And you can add to it, you can search it. It's really fun. So I'm going to go back to Clodfelter here and search for Clodfelter. And I'm going to go dig. That's what it says here. Go dig. Oh, didn't have any. That's surprising. Let's try Whicker. Okay, there are some Whicker ones. So most of these Whickers, they're long, way back. I could find them in Family Search probably. But this is the guy that I know about, and I don't have this picture. Oh no, I have this one. It's the wife one I don't have. I've never seen one with his wife in it. So there's a nice picture of Oliphant Whicker and his wife. They were told not to smile back then because you had to hold your pose for so long. Yeah. And your mouth would get really tired. Anyway, this is the key to all my Whicker genealogy. We searched for, my mom was a professional genealogist, and she searched for decades for where our Whicker line jumps from Virginia back to England. And we could not find that link for years. And finally, I was in Saudi Arabia during the first Gulf War when I got a letter from a guy named R.F. Whicker in Virginia, and he solved the problem. And it's Oliphant was the key here. And where did he get the name Oliphant? We still haven't figured that out. Because it's not a common name. It's a last name. I've heard it as a last name, but we can't find any connection to any surnames of Oliphant. But now I could get this picture and put it in my memories for Oliphant Whicker. So deadfred.org. Just go play around with it. It's pretty fun.
Is it .org or .com?
Or .com, sorry. Let's see what deadfred.org. No, I don't dare. You never know what you're going to get if you go. Okay. And don't overlook social media. Have you guys used social media in your genealogy, your family history? Because there are lots of groups on, what's that place called? Oh yeah, Facebook. Facebook.org. I guess I'm going to have to sign in probably, and I don't remember my sign in. Anyway, go to Facebook or Instagram and just search at the top left, search for genealogy, and you're going to have a whole list of genealogical groups out there that are out there to help you. Yeah, and you can also, of course, search for genealogy dash and a surname. We already did Cindy's list. We've only got 10 minutes, so let me quickly show you on Family Search another thing. I think somebody's already taught you about this new research assistant, this artificial intelligence, right? Have you ever seen the the other experiment called full text search. Let's look at that real quick. Family tree, go to the home. And yeah, on the right-hand side, here's all the experiments. So we're going to go to experiments. And the full text search is right there. The second one on the right-hand column. So we're going to go to the experiment. And it's not super accurate, by the way. You can do searches in here, and it looks a lot deeper than titles of documents. It looks inside the document. So for example, the brick wall I have right now is John Jefferson McClure. Oops, that's not the place to put it. Let's go down here, put it in the name. And he was born in 1805. I just don't know his parents, in Kentucky. We've never been able to find his parents. So if I do a search here, then it's looking deep within documents. And since I didn't put it in quotes, it's finding me Johns and Jeffersons and McClures. So I'm going to go back here and put those in quotes to specify I want all three of those names all together in sequence. And then I don't get any results. So back on the home page, though, I've got the experiment opened, and so it shows up on my front page, on my home page, and it already found me 5 hints that using full text search that might be useful to me. So I already looked at this Gladys Ann Haskell. She's not related to the Gladys that says she is. 3 years off and not the same state and everything. So I'm not sure why it comes up with some of these. Have you guys had success with some of these? Have you?
Children.
The children? So a possible child of Olive Tyler. Let's try that. Listed as a child of Oliver Tyler. And so I wanted to go to review and match. That's what I wanted to do. So this brings up the source linker. And it says on the right is the Olive Tyler I have in my family tree. On the left is from what it found in Kansas births. It says Olive Tyler, that matches. Female matches. Birth 1873, that's 5 years different. So that's not enough to go on. I wouldn't make that a match. So what is? Where do you see the husband's name? Oh, the next person. Okay, George James. And there's a son's name. So yeah, so I should probably research this one.
We didn't have to research.
Yeah,
It could be like.
yeah, could be. So there's that. One other thing that I like to do that I would suggest that you do in your tree.
I was just gonna say, open up the parents and see if they're the same, but it's okay, you're doing that.
Parents, it said 0.
There's 2 parents, if you open up that top thing all the way to the right. Over, up, says open, right there.
Yeah, that's on my family tree,
So you click that.
but there's no parents on
That's
the,
what it says.
yeah. Yeah, good point. Okay, so back to family tree here. Oops. I want to go to my tree. I want to show you something that I like to do for people that I know well, for future generations. I'm going to go to my dad again. And down here on the details, we're in the details tab here. Down here on the left, you've got other information like alternate names. You know, I could put his alternate name of Benny. But down here further, there's facts. You can add a fact. So my brother added his physical description, and then I added his occupation. I don't know how valuable that's going to be for future generations, but it might help them
Interesting.
in understanding him a little bit. Yeah.
Use that all the time.
Do you?
If you have an occupation, the guy's a farmer, and then all of a sudden you go someplace else, and there's something totally different,
Yeah.
you're not a match.
Yeah, that's great.
So I
So,
always put the occupation in.
oh, that's great. I'm glad to know that because I haven't done that until recently. I didn't think about that. So,
If he's a farmer, he might give you a bid to go look at land records.
yeah.
Especially with similar names, it helps a lot.
And I even put a link in here to where you could go to see my dad's flying career on my website. So I type that in, boom. There's what was he flying in 1958? He was flying the C-124. Okay. Okay. So custom facts, that's fun. And then you know that you have a brief life history on everybody that artificial intelligence does for you. So if we take this, who are we on? Olive Tyler, go to the About tab on the far left. Artificial intelligence has taken everything it can dig from her record and write a narrative, a brief life history of Olive. And then if you want to edit this and add more detail, you can do that by going to the details. Well, by going, where do you go to edit this? To change it, edit the data on the details. Oh, now it used to be you could go in here and type things in your own words. Can't do that anymore?
Is there more? Click on home.
Oh. How do I correct? It says you have to go into the details to do that. Well, it says whether they are computer or user created. Well, I used to do that quite a bit. I'd go in there and add my own words. But let's see, there's more. Whoops. More. Huh, I don't see any way to edit it right now. Maybe that was in Ancestry where you can edit it.
All you do is that middle column, it says, do you know Olin? Do you have a story? Put it here. And they want you to write your own story with your name on it.
Yeah, that's under memories. Yeah. But this brief history, you used to be able to edit, I thought. Okay. Now, have you ever come up with, well, I just want to show you one other really cute site called nameberry.com. And you can type, it's the largest baby naming site in the world, but what's so good about it is you can find out what Molly is a nickname for. So I'm going to just type in Molly. And that may not be her real name, so I might not be able to find her in records. And it tells me it's a diminutive of Mary, derived from the Hebrew meaning bitter or sea of bitterness. So I might be looking for a Mary and not a Molly. And it had, let's see. Well, let's see. What's another? Peggy? Let's see what Peggy. Let's see. There it is. So many short forms of Margaret, from Peggy all the way through Maggie and Megan, are outdated now that Mago has value simply by being undiscovered. I never would have thought of Mago. It must be a modern one. Okay, so nicknames, you can go look up what they're really for. Okay, I'm done. I'm out of time. I think the missionaries are here. I wish I could show you a couple more, but one that if you're a mind mapper kind of a person, you like to see things visually and work out any types of patterns and things like that. There's this thing that's free. It's called The Brain, thebrain.com. And what it does is allows you to connect things to other things and take notes and go between, just like a mind map, but it's a working mind map. And I've used that since 2020 when I worked at the Pentagon. And I like it because it's a good way to organize your thoughts and then go back to it later and add. You can use it for genealogy and connect families and just visually see real quickly right on your software. So I had a better example of this, but we don't have time for it. So the mind map is a good one. And then timelines are a really good way to do things. I want to show you my timeline real quick for my family. And I've got it password protected. It doesn't have to be on the web. But here's my timeline. And you can see that it goes all the way from, where's my floating? Here we go. You can scroll along here and you can search for events. So I could enter a search term and find out when somebody was baptized. And I'd find that my parents were baptized into the church on the 6th of June, 1959. So it's just a very useful way to organize a timeline to keep your brain clear about when world events happened, what was happening in your family. Like,
You put in all.
yeah, I just, in this piece of software called AEON, AEON. But there are other timeline softwares too. So I could search for the moon landing and see, I thought I could do it. That's honeymoon. Oh, I thought I had the moon landing in there. I guess I haven't put the moon landing in there. See what was happening in our family when big events happened. Yeah. Okay, that's all. Thank you for coming. And if you didn't get a handout, I guess he got you, didn't he? Thank you very much.